Welcome to Laye&Lucy TV. Today we have our best friend here, Leah. So Leah, you can introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me on the channel yet again. And I'm happy to be here. My name is Leah. I am many things. And because we are going to talk about identity today, I'm not quick to expound what that is. But top on that list is that I have been a public servant for a period of 12, 13 years now and looking to venture to other things. Not because I attach little value to what I've been doing for the last 15 years, but because I feel that we need to be much more than just one thing. Yeah.
That is very good. So that brings us to the topic identity. What do you really mean about your identity? Your identity at work as this is the same identity in home, or is the same identity when you are in the private sector? I just want to hear about your view on that. What is identity? What is your identity?
Traditionally, I believe we attached a lot of value to what we do. So you'll find someone introducing themselves as, "Hey, my name is Leah and I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya." And there was so much, I would call it societal value to that identity that I feel robs that person of how much more they would be. The same description can be attached to mothers. Traditionally, women in Kenya and I believe around Africa would introduce themselves as, "My name is Mama X and XYZ, Mrs. XYZ." There was a lot of value around that. And I feel that it's time that we unlearn that and explore and open up our minds to how much more we can be.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Me too. I have been working in public service here, so often, so you have to distinguish who you are. Sometimes you cannot even describe yourself as I cannot describe myself. My name is this. Sometimes it has to be attached to where I'm working. So last time somebody called me, was trying to introduce me to someone else because she did not know what more to add to my name. So it was this guy who working in this area. Okay. I said, no, that is not my identity. And sometimes I myself, I see it is pressure when you go to work. So the value at work, the way they want you to be operating, even if you are not at work with this type of value that should be attached with you. Sometimes it can be too much because you have to do things in certain way. So if you don't do that, so your working place will get painted black. They will have a negative comment about it. So is the same thing happening to you or to some other people?
Yes, I'm happy you bring in that other aspect of identity. I'm able to relate more to what I am as in respect to what I do as opposed to what I am at this stage. I think now when you leave your, I would call it your circle, then you open up your mind to what other possibilities that you can be, like the example you've given. Maybe we can invite Lucy to give her perspective before we move on.
Lucy,
Hey,
hi. So tell us about identity and what type of pressure identity can create on people and how can we take some of these pressure down?
Okay, I think adding on from what Leah said, the name, your title, and your identity are kind of enmeshed together. And sometimes most of us are not able to distinguish their name from their title, from their identity. Let me first speak to the name. A name is very important. And actually, even you find in laws, I'm not so certain about the law in Norway, but I know about the international law, like convention relating to children. The children have a right to a name. Any child born, they have a right to be given a name. So what is this name? A name is it's what other people call you. And if you look in our African context, which of course you're also African, and a name bears a lot of weight. because you will be able to know certain people by what they are called, like what tribe they come from, or what their level in the society, like whether they are wealthy people or whether they are very influential people. You will be able to know them by the names they bear. And I think that
like how?
For example, there are certain people who come from a lineage which has been very influential. And let me take, for example, the name I'm looking for a most influential. Let's say, for instance, our president or our former president, Kenyatta. If you hear the Kenyattas, you will know that if you hear that I have the name Kenyatta, you will ask me, are you from the president's family? Even actually my surname, those people who know my surname will actually ask me, are you, because we have a freedom fighter, of course, in Kenya, is a famous freedom fighter. So people say, are you related to that freedom fighter? And I usually say yes, because I can't really say no, because I have never gone down the genealogy to find out whether or not I'm not related. So yeah, I ride the wave. I know a name comes with a lot of things. For example, take the name Trump. If you hear someone called Lucy Trump, the first thing you will ask me, are you related to the Trump family? Then that's where we will come to ask, who is Trump? And then you probably say, Trump, the president of the US, and all that. So a name, it cuts across the board. And I know you know it, especially from your background. Certain names come with certain weight. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
before we go, I'm just here to I have a lot of questions as we start talking about things like that.
Yes, it's a discussion. Please ask.
Yeah. So it's just like, what about those who calling their son like a Lucifer and so bad thing? It's like they don't have a love for their children, or they have it in opposite way. So I don't know.
Yes, I believe what you have said. They have it in opposite way, or they just want to be contrarian. People want to send a message by the name they give. In our African context, each name, although you will find most of us have adopted Christian or Muslim originating names, but the original tribal names have a meaning. Your name has a meaning. My name has a meaning. Leah's name has a meaning. Not the name Leah, but the tribal name has a meaning. So we all are given these names, and they're very well thought about. How are the names thought about? Your mother would probably give you a name to remember someone or a situation, or to send a message of hope or something. And then you find sometimes most people live by their name. Even those who give their children names which are a bit controversial, you will find that why the name is controversial, even that person lives by that controversy surrounding that name, that weird name. And then, yes, when you're saying that some people give their children names which are contrary to their love, like they don't love them, it's true, because sometimes that parent may be in a space where they hate the fact that they have a child, or they don't want to have the child, or they just want to send a ridiculous message to the world. Yeah, and show that, the world is going right, I will go left. So that's just sending a message, and a rebellious one. So that's my take.
Yeah, I want to ask Leah about the meaning of her African name.
Okay.
Leah, so don't tell me it's like a fighter.
My African name is Wanja. It means different things to different ethnic groups, but for my ethnic group, it means the one who was born outside. I don't know whether I was born outside of the house or outside of the home, but in another neighboring ethnic group, it means the one who was born at home.
Okay.
So I choose the one where it's the one who belongs to the home, Wanja.
So you can see any attachment about that, for example. It can be like you love being home because your name is you were born home.
Yes, definitely. Maybe I didn't finish the full name. My father's name is Mati, and Mati means leaves, dry leaves, which is waste. Contextually speaking, it's not needed. And my grandmother said that the reason why she gave him such a name was because she had lost children, and so she gave him a bad name so that the evil spirits would not feel attracted to her child, and that's how my father survived. So yeah, how much value do we attach to a name? Does your name give you an identity? Yeah, maybe we can take the conversation to the next step.
No, what about Lucy? Lucy, yours. Yeah, the meaning of yours. Yeah, you're not running away.
I'm telling you the meaning of my name before you tell us what yours means.
Okay, I will tell you mine. In West African Madingo tribe, Laye can stand alone, but often Laye is attached to some other name. You know, so for example, where I'm coming from, like Liberia and Guinea and stuff like that. So often and Africa like that. Sometimes when people travel to pilgrimage in Mecca, so and then they coming back. When they come back, so in Arabic they call it Al-Hajj, someone who have done pilgrimage trip, who have gone to Mecca and see the Kaaba and come back. So they call him Hajj al-Bait. In Arabic, Hajj al-Bait. He has gone and then done a pilgrimage trip. So that is a title. So now they can put that title to a name. They can say, in Arabic, for example, they can say Al-Hajj Umar, for example. So, and then our Madingo people, they are so smart in one way. Maybe they could not say the same way as Arab people used to say. Instead of saying Al-Hajj, they call it Lai.
And
So-
Al-Hajj are the same. And
Yes, exactly. It become automatically a name. Sometimes you can see, for example, in French country in West Africa, they call it Lai. Sometimes they call it El Haj Diouf, for example, the football player. That is, that it become a name. So in some other area, they can add it like a second name. So like Abdullah. Abdullah. So instead of Abdullah, in some other area, like a Guinea president, they call him Mamadi Doumbouya. Some other people they call him Laye Mamadi. Laye Mamadi. So this is religious name for people that have gone to Mecca and come back, and then they have gone. So in our same tribe like that. So if it is a lady, we call it Haja.
Yeah.
Haja. And then Haja is also named for some ladies that have been in Mecca. So the question is, if I'm attached to that name, I can say like a 50%. Yeah. More.
Why 50%? Why are you giving it 50% and not that or more? Why are you giving that and not giving it 100%?
No, I can say we are talking about identity. Let me say that 50%, but I'm trying to be there,
Okay, because you say Lai means Hajj, like Al
Yeah,
Hajj.
someone who
You
have
have
done
not
Hajj.
been to Mecca, so
I have not been to Mecca, and then so I'm a religious, but for me to be like that, lies. I just need to go there, and then when I come back, yeah,
So call yourself Al Hajj Lai, or it will be Lai.
I think mine will be lie.
Now you see now how we were even discussing this. Now we are conflating the name, the identity, and the title together. You see, we are all conflating that, and that's what when I started talking about the name, and then we took over with the name. It's that aspect of us in the society not understanding that those three things are different. The name, of course, the name comes with its own weight. Your title is what, in the current world, probably I would say that the title you get depends on what you do. You know? In the sense that how Leah was saying, someone would describe themselves, or even you, how you are saying, someone would describe you based on where you work. Like, let's say if you found a doctor, they would just say, I am Dr. Lucy. And then you will actually know me by my title. So you are like, you're a doctor. So you work in the hospital. The confliction or confusion of the name, the title, and the identity. So you find now about the title. Sometimes even names in our African settings have come from the title of what probably you or your ancestor or whoever are doing. I'll give you an example. There are names which mean things. Like There's a name of someone who is called Baba. A Baba, person who cuts the hair for people. And that is a name of a person. Or a person who cooks. Someone has a name. You may find I have been given a name which means a cook, or I've been given a name which means a blacksmith. So you find that name, like even the way Leah was explaining about the name of father, is there is some attachment, and there's a reason why you have been given that name. It's a name, but it's also a title to something. You see? So now, at the current times, we conflate a lot of things. So I would say I am a lawyer, and I am a lawyer. But that is not my identity, and that is not my name. Because if you went in a space and said, "You lawyer," and I'm seated, let's say I'm seated amongst 50 people, you say, "You lawyer," I would not stand up because I would not know who you are actually referring to. But if you said, "You, Lucy, the lawyer," now using the title, then probably that will be very specific that you want
particular
that
Lucy.
specific person. But then the lawyer is not my identity. And that now goes to what we were speaking about. How what Leah and I were speaking about, which brought to this conversation, how nowadays people attach themselves so much to their title or what they do, and they miss out on the opportunities and the potential they can have. You just are not one square person. You are very many things. Like, you can be very many things. And then probably I'll give this to Leah so that now you can pick it up from identity.
Yeah, Leah, what comes first? Identity or name or title or status? What comes first?
I'm not sure I'm able to stratify them in order of what's important and what's less important. But what we are saying, what we were putting out here on these podcasts is that life is too short to be one thing. And I believe that's why they brought in the idea of deed polls. You can actually change your name if you feel that it doesn't speak to what you want to be as you grow older. And similarly, I wanted to draw this question out to the audience that if you put yourself in a box, as Lucy describes it, then you live a life that is half lived, if I can put it that way. As we grow older, we need to open up our minds to the possibility of being something else besides what our name is or perceives us to be, what we do, and open up our minds to the possibility of being something else or calling ourselves another name. That's all. That's my take.
Yeah. So a person is bigger than one thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That give a good meaning, because you are not just a lawyer or you are not just author. You are also a father. You are also a mother. You are also maybe
A
musician.
bread baker,
Yes. Yeah. A lot of
a
things.
writer, an artist,
Yeah. So,
truck
but
driver.
yeah, yes, exactly. So because if something happened in the road, they say the driver. So they forget about your true identity. So now what you doing? You were driving.
And you could actually end up saving lives while at it.
So, but a lot of people can have that type of conflict inside them that my name, my status is not who I am. So it become a big weight of them. It can be someone who has been in the high ranking system in the government like that. So they have achieved all, but they feel that that is not their real person. I can give you an example. I was working one area. It was like a psychologic area, clinic. It's not a clinic, but it is psychiatry where people can work together to help to those who are living there. So one nurse was working there. One day I was talking to her. She told me, "You know what? I have resigned." I said, "Why?" She said, "I did not meant to be a nurse. I just took it and then I become it. And then I've been working like this for some years now, but I don't feel that is real me. It is not suitable for me. It is not, I'm resigning." I said, "Okay, are you resigning? What will you do next?" Because today life is attached to money, how to pay the bill. She was telling me, "Yeah, I think I have always loved to be modeling, or someone who yeah, or someone who want to work in that branch like that. Even if I cannot be a modeling, but I can be someone who making them, making them. At that time, I was very young, but I was having a question. I said, okay, a lot of people were struggling to come into university to get what you already get, and then even they got what you already have, they have to look for job, and you have a full-time job, and everything is in place, and then you saying that you're resigning and then start looking for something else. She said, no, yeah, that is true. I just want to be myself. This is not the type of life I want to be. So my question is just like, if you have had that type of experience, or if you have talked to somebody who have had this type of experience and how it has gone with them.
I believe that's what they call an identity crisis. And I feel the best way to avoid such a situation is by appreciating quite early on that you can actually be something else besides what you're doing. Like in the case of your friend, I feel that the decision to resign without a plan B might be prejudicial to her, statistically speaking. So it would have been better if she was able to explore art, modeling, or whatever it was she wanted to do quite early on, and then do it alongside nursing. So it's what that's why we are having this discussion, because traditionally we were unfortunately linked to that one thing. For some of us, you're told to work hard at school so that you get a job. So you tend to limit your mind to just that one thing, doing a job. But then you grow up and realize, hey, I am a lawyer, but I also write so well. And what if my lawyering job at this time does not allow me to explore that writing talent? Yeah. So we are saying the same thing, and the uprising of the crisis, I believe, can be mitigated by exploring the options available to us quite early in life. I don't know what Lucy thinks.
Yes, for me, I think that I wouldn't call it so much an identity crisis as Leah's called it. I beg to differ. I would call it an issue of belonging, and I will explain what I mean.
Fire.
Yes, I fire away. That there's that an identity crisis. Okay, this is what I think an identity crisis is, and then I may be wrong, and I'm open to correction. An identity crisis is where you don't know what you are or even what you want to be. But in that case, example you had given, this lady knows what she wants to be. She knows very well what she does not want to be. She does not want to be a nurse. She knows that she wants to be in modeling or working in that domain of modeling. Yeah, so she actually knows what she wants. And also, identity crisis also is an enmeshment of a lot of things. I would say also your origin, where you don't even know your origin, and it affects who you are as a person. Okay, here now I'm just rambling, but
No, no, you're
let me
not rumbling. We are
okay.
talking out of our heart, out of our
Yes.
mind. So it's
The
not.
ramble is good. Let me quote my favorite author, Brené Brown. She actually says the ramble is good, like having someone or people you can ramble with, like you can try to dissect your thoughts with, whether they are making sense or not. It's a very good process. Like if you don't have someone to ramble with, or you actually don't ramble,
It close opportunity.
yeah, it closes your mind. It closes your mind to, I think, just one perspective of thing, which may or may not be right. Anyway, as I ramble along, I was saying it is a belonging crisis or a belonging issue. Belonging, how I define it myself, is where you experience or a situation. Let's say we were talking about name, a title, and identity. So how you identify yourself, or how or what you choose to call yourself, and even your title, you feel that you are in a group or in a social setting that accepts you. So for me, I would tend to think that, or I believe, I may be wrong, but I probably from my perspective I may be right, and you don't need to agree with my perspective, is that when a belonging crisis occur, you may feel that yes, I'm a lawyer, or I don't belong here. I think I belong in a group of artists. I feel I am alive. I feel I have more agency to express myself when I'm with musician, or with dancers, or when I am with rock climbers, or when I am with a certain setting, when you are in a certain setting. So you remove yourself from there to go and seek that setting and seek to root yourself in that setting so that you can feel acceptance. Yes, acceptance is maybe external, but it's also internal. Internal acceptance is whereby when you have found that setting where you say that, let's say it's a setting of artists or musicians or truck drivers or nurses, you feel that I'm actually enjoying this. The work may be so much, it may be back-breaking, it may be strenuous, but I'm loving this. I'm having agency. My opinions are valued. I am saving lives, or I'm feeling satisfaction. So that is internal acceptance. Then there is the external acceptance, whereby now that settings where you are building or you're setting your roots, they embrace you. They like, yeah, nice. Why did you waste your time in music? You actually make a very good doctor. You see, like they validate you. So, and belonging, I think it's also multifaceted in a way that you can actually belong in different settings. You can have belonging.
See them different
Yes, you can fit in different areas. Like what I like saying, you are very fluid. You are like water. You take a shape of the container you find yourself in. Yes, there are people who are like that. They seemingly gel in whatever situation they find themselves in. So that's why I was objecting, or I was disagreeing with my friend, saying that I think what your friend or that person you told us about was having was a belonging issue, not so much of identity.
belonging crashes then. Belonging crashes.
Yeah, it can be. We can baptize it that. Okay, over to Laye. Let her tell you her thoughts.
I think the two can be used interchangeably. Those are my thoughts. Yeah, on what, depending on the context, because you are also looking to not, what's the word? Confuse our viewers by telling them that it's all negative, negative, negative. Lucy has brought in the aspect of the positive context within which this is happening. That by being with this other group, then I feel at home, and this is what I enjoy doing. Lucy likes to say that time stops. What's that quote again? That time stops moving when you do something you enjoy. She says another way to put it is find something you love doing and you not have to work a day in your life. I think that's why that's the right way of putting it. So this lady found her belonging in dancing. In what did you say? She loved art.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Modeling.
that
Yeah.
brings in the positive aspect of knowing what else you can be besides a nurse. That's how I choose to look at it.
That you should not limit yourself to one thing, but you should have a door open to do some other thing. And I agree about that. But Lucy was talking about acceptance. No, Africa is too big. Africa is too big. A lot of countries. Yeah. So let us talk about youth there. Sometimes some youth, I don't think they don't choose to do this type of do this type of study. For example, when they start doing schooling, they just go to school. They don't even think too much about what I myself want to be. So it's like the society around them change the way they thinking, the advices they are getting. Yeah, at the end, they take this study. For example, if people around them telling them you will be very a successful person if you take an economic study. Maybe that line they just continue, but they don't sit down and just thinking about their own. I don't know if it was the same thing when you were going to school. For example, your young age, if it was the same thing, you start hearing that yeah, Leah, you have to study. Yeah, and then you continue studying. You don't even think too much about what is behind it. You can talk.
Yes, that's what I began by saying, that traditionally we were wired to think in one way, and a child is, I believe, they become 80% of what the environment teaches them to be. But now we are opening up our worlds to what the digitalization has done, and we've seen people carving out careers from content creation. So as time moves, I feel the environment has also changed for these children. And it is
Mhm.
important that, unlike us who are just limited to what we can be, for them, they're not shooting in the dark really. They have a lot of options on their table. A lot of cards are on the table, and it is important that they explore all these possibilities as they grow older. In their name, in their work, in their, what was the third thing? Their identity. Yeah. Let's hear Lucy's views.
What was the question?
Yeah, if when you were growing up, going to school and then taking your career that you took, if society had something to play in it, or it was your own choice from A to Z.
For me, I was labeled a rebellious kid since I was
Since you were born.
little. Because I am okay, I'm not rebellious, but I always entertain the contrary thoughts or the contrary option, or I look for what else is available. I think this is what they call contrarian. Yes, the thing is that growing up, there are those titles or jobs which were revered, which were prestigious, were seemed to be prestigious by our parents. And one thing I remember is that growing up, everyone thought and said to me that they want me to be a doctor. And of course,
Doctor with the blood. Ha!
yes, a doctor. And I believe I believe if I still want to be one, I can make the best doctor on the planet.
I will not be your patient then.
No, I can't. I can't treat you. It's not allowed ethically. I wouldn't treat you anyway. The thing is that we are still talking about identity and not and belonging and names and titles, and not limiting ourselves to that small box that has been defined for us. So yes, I was, you should be this is better, you should be that. And in the African context, although it is changing now, children did not have a lot of agency to decide or to influence the decisions which are even made for them. And we were actually never consulted in many decisions that are made for us. Although now it's changing. I'm a very big advocate for children, me and my friend here. So I believe in inclusion of children in decision making, and probably that is why I would say I was just labeled a contrarian or a little rebel.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I didn't end up being, even though I had the mark for a doctor, I didn't end up being a doctor. I ended up being a lawyer. But that is not my identity, as I've said. I don't define myself as that because I am many things. My friend here can tell you I am many things. And no, you can't call me rebellious. For me, I'm not rebellious, but I refuse to accept things as they are if they don't make meaning to me. If they don't make meaning to me, I need to understand why you want to impose them on me. And I need to understand why I don't have agency in deciding why that decision you have made is good for me. So I don't think that is rebelliousness. I think that is reason. And I am afraid very many people are afraid of people who reason. And
Is
for me,
that
I think reason rules the world. Reason rules the world. But unfortunately, nowadays, I don't see so much of that because we have relegated intellectual discourses like what we are having now to machines, or we are not having such spaces. We don't have such spaces where we can honestly discuss and talk about all and sundry, agree and disagree, or agree to disagree, like they used to do in the way they used to say in the ancient piazzas in the Roman times, where the intellectuals like Socrates, Plato, and everyone, all these people we read about actually used to go to these public spaces and have discourses. They argue for the whole day. And this is what has formed the philosophy as we know it, you know?
Mm.
So nowadays, we are not inventing philosophy, or we are not making ourselves think beyond what is there. We are just consuming what is there and limiting ourselves
Mm-hmm.
to that drawn line, not knowing that there is so much which exists outside that line. I will give the floor to Leah to add more on that.
Oh,
I have known Lucy since the millennium began. And I
yeah,
agree, she'll really challenge the status quo if it doesn't make sense to her.
yeah. Time changing.
I
So
believe it's
people
a
are,
good time for a parting shot. We could go on and give a parting shot.
yeah.
Conclude for us what we have been saying.
Conclusion that you should not limit it yourself to only one thing, open door to other thing. And then this was the part one, and then part two will come, and part two will come, and it will start it. You have to tell me, and I have to tell you what is your real attitude.
Okay.
Thank you for watching.